Have you ever heard the phrase, no one is bigger than the program?
Body that's bigger than the program.
Hey, nobody's bigger than the program, cuz.
Nobody does it better.
Oh, wait. Editor, what the fuck? Well, these comic book creators thought and actually were bigger than the program. If you don't know who these guys are, these are the founding fathers of Image Comics. Eric Larson, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, Whilce Prestaccio, Mark Silvestri, and Jim Valentino. These guys left the mainstream comic book industry and started their own comic book publishing company, Image Comics.
Comic book giant Marvel is losing 8 of its top creators of superheroes. The reason? Control over their creations.
After Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, and Jim Lee coming off of record-breaking comics, Spider-Man, X-Force, and X-Men, which still holds the record for the best-selling comics today, these guys were definitely bigger than the program and continued to show their dominance in the comic book industry until the comic book speculator bubble burst in 1997. These guys were comic book rock stars. But now, the days of comic book superstars are far behind us. Why is this? Did Marvel and DC purposely gatekeep creators in order to keep another Image Comics from emerging from the ashes? Why is the comic book industry being pushed to a writers-driven medium? Why isn't there any more comic book superstars? Well, let's take a deep dive and see what we can find. So I know what you're thinking. There are comic book creators who are prominent and popular in the industry today. Most of them are writers like Robert Kirkman, Brian Michael Bendis, Jeff Loeb, Scott Snyder, and people in that vein. But I personally don't feel like comic book writers push the needle in comic book culture as much as the artists do. Think about it. When you go to comic book conventions, what do you see? Banners of Todd McFarlane's art, Alex Ross's paintings. There's prints of comic book art being sold, fan art being sold, and there's a whole section in the convention dedicated to artists called Artist Alley. You're never gonna see a quote from Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead or Brian Michael Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. You're more likely to see Mark Bagley's Spider-Man before you see any of that, right? So why has comics been pushed to a writers-driven medium? This could ultimately be cracked up to writers being able to work on multiple projects in a month compared to an artist who takes usually a month to finish one book. There's also been a shift in the comic book editorial in the mainstream. Back in the day, there was also artist directors like John Romita Sr. who would help the artists become more prominent and hone their skills as artists in the game. Also, artists turned editors like Alex Toth, Chris Amensi, and Howard Chaykin. Nowadays, editors are curated to choose words over pictures when it comes to the comic book industry. And the role of the artist director at Marvel and DC is dead and gone. Howard Chaykin, a now 50-year vet in the comic book game, both as an artist and a writer, has stated in a Game Radar interview that the editorial staffs at the majors are staffed almost entirely by writers who have little or no narrative sensibility, who know little of what a narrative picture means in the context of a page or a panel, Chaykin says. He continues with, since comics have evolved more into an ancillary product of IP, the powers that be, the management class, the movie and TV people cannot identify what writing is in comics. They perceive that the writer's job is writing and the artist's job as illustrators, but comic book artists are, or at least should be, graphic designers in the service of narrative, pictures of narrative value, which means story value. Chaykin states that the major comic book companies have invested a tremendous amount of time and effort in diminishing the significance of the artist in the name of the writer because artists are perceived as rebellious and free bookers. And no one in the business end of comic book business ever wants to see anything like Image and what these artists did in the early 90s again. Writers are not perceived as the type to do something like that. So the shift in the big two can be pinpointed to editors being writer orientated over artist orientated. But what about outside of the big two or indie creators? Why hasn't any of those creators transcended comics into popularity status, celebrity status? Why aren't there any more comic artists doing Levi ads or going on late night television? Comic book creators like Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld are outliers in that they have over the top personalities and have the traditional celebrity man look to them. These played huge roles in their popularity. They also had the skills to match their personality and their big talk. Aside from artists not really having the personality or the look to be celebrity, even if they did have those things, there's a lot more competing forms of entertainment nowadays taking away eyes from comic books, such as streaming services, Twitch streamers, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, the BBOs you see up and down your timeline that you keep double tapping for some reason. You need to save yourself. The world can see your name in those likes, Bob. I see you. Even if the artist had the superstar personality, the good charming looks or whatever have you, they just simply won't have the time to compete with a Twitch streamer who could live stream for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, hell, even a whole month, because comic book creators are working on their comics constantly. An artist has to draw every single day. They're not gonna have time to be live streaming all day while they draw or write or whatever the case is. It's just not feasible, at least not nowadays. I haven't seen it yet, right? I also believe actors have taken away the spotlight from comic book creators. You know, the people who acted in the MCU movies or DCU movies, most casual fans will associate the actors to the comics than they would the comic book artist or writer to the comics. So I also think that's another huge factor that's diminishing from keeping a comic book creator from being a celebrity. At the end of the day, many factors that are keeping creators from reaching superstar status, whether it's Marvel DC trying to pigeonhole creators from transcending comics, or comic book creators just simply not wanting to be celebrities or not even having personality to be celebrities, or the time to compete with the ever-growing entertainment industry. What do you guys think? Will there ever be another superstar comic book creator? And don't say it's not possible, because Oda is a celebrity. The creator of Attack on Titan is definitely a celebrity. So there has to be somebody who's going to break through and, you know, transcend comics while still being pure towards comics. You know, me personally, I think what we need to do is have more positive influences on comics, more youthful curators of comics. I know comics are popular with the Gen Zers and the boomers, but y'all gotta pass the torch to the millennials and the Gen Zers. You guys have, and not just pass the torch, you also have to inform them and not give a begrudging gift to these younger people. You know, people like me, you know, I don't have an OG in the comic book game. I don't have somebody who taught me about these comics. You know, I simply learned because I loved comics when I was little, and I got back into them as I got older. And so I've slowly, you know, started getting into comics, and not just the old stuff, but the new stuff. You know, if I listened to all these guys on the internet who are just trashing modern comics, I probably would never stay with comics. But I found so many great stories, so many great artists, so many great things in modern comics. You just have to go and look for it. And we, like I said earlier, we need more positive curators of the comic book industry as a whole. Hopefully that will come into fruition in the future. Hopefully I can be one of those guys who add to the positive vibes of comics, because I love the medium. I love creating comics. I love reading comics. Speaking of created comics, please click the link in the description. I'm a comic book creator, if you guys didn't know. I have an ongoing series right now called BAM, The Last Hero on Earth. Links in the description if you guys want to check it out. Let me know what you think. I have 9 chapters out right now. I'm putting out chapters monthly. I'm working on plenty of other things that are going to come out in the near future. I appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.